Yes, the IPO fever is in full swing. The S&P 7431 up 1.4% on the week. We had the Dow also up this week a little bit, almost 1%, over 51,202 to close. NASDAQ up almost 1% as well. And the Russell 2000 up 3.9% for the week. Had a very strong week, year to date up over 18%. 10-year Treasury right under 450 at 449, and crude down this week pretty big at $89 a barrel. So we're going to talk all about SpaceX, don't you worry, on today's show and what it means for AI IPOs later this summer, because that is a big question. But overall, what do we see this past week? Well, tech is cooling off. The recent pullback we saw in semiconductors reflects some profit taking after a possibly too far, too fast rally with improving strength we're seeing across the market. Obviously, they're still talking about a potential U.S.-Iran deal, which could support that broadening trend in stocks. But the IPO demand, well, it's there. The SpaceX debut was a real gauge of investor sentiment. We'll talk more about that. But overall, caution. Here's your cautionary flag. If you're out there, yellow flags flying. History suggests some caution after the initial excitement, as large IPOs have often underperformed the broader market over their first year. We'll talk about that. The Fed right now remains on hold. They're going to get back together again this week. For markets, a high for longer backdrop rather than a shift back towards tightening could be supportive of the value overall, particularly if it relates to stable economic growth and easing inflation pressure. So I had a great question come from one of our listeners about the World Cup. And how would one think about investing in the World Cup? Now, as you know, the 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off this week, just started. It's all over your cable network. It'll be the largest. 48 teams are going to play 104 matches. I just thought about that. And the longest lasting World Cup in history, lasting 39 days. Additionally, it will be the first edition to be hosted by 3 nations, U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And attendance is projected to hit 6.5 million people. This is what I find staggering, is the people tuning in globally. Get this, 6 billion people. That's over 70% of the world population. So you might be thinking about who's going to win. Certainly, I think about that. I love Argentina. It's family related, go there a lot. So I'm rooting for Argentina, sorry, but it looks like Spain. And then France could be the teams that do it. We'll see. There's always surprises. But the event is expected, without much traffic, to impact the economy. So what are some things you should think about if you're looking at potentially capitalizing on the World Cup? Of course, these are things you may want to think about. Maybe you don't. I would talk to your financial advisor before you do anything. But some of the areas that could do well would be restaurants, sport bars, food and beverage, transportation, lodging, media, and certainly gambling. Investment banks and various analysts have put lists out there. You can see them if you'd like. They're stocks that could benefit from the World Cup. Again, these are potentials. Bottom line, with record numbers of people attending and watching the World Cup, there are some sectors, some industries, countries, stocks, ETFs. Well, they could do well. Might be worth looking at. So thanks for the question. Appreciate that. What are we looking at next week? It's a lot coming up. We got the Fed meeting, press conference. We're going to have some more inflation data coming out. We got the treasuries we're looking at, depending on what the Fed does. And of course, this will be the first week that SpaceX actually trades throughout the week. So we'll see what happens to that IPO. Make sure you speak with your financial advisor who can help you navigate economic, geopolitical, and policy shifts and help ensure your portfolio remains on track to achieve your financial goals, particularly if you're looking to create income from your portfolio if you're at or near retirement. If you need help, call us. We are the Liberty Group, and we'd love to help you. Go to our website, libertygroupllc.com, or speak to an advisor right now. Call us 866-PROTECT.